Now, the Global Online Safety Network has appointed the CEO of the South African Film and Publications Board, Dr Mashilo Boloka, as its new Vice Chairperson for a one-year term. The safety network is a collaboration between the stakeholders in online safety regulation to enable the sharing of insights as well as experience and best practices. The appointment of Dr Boloka follows the acceptance of the Film and Publication Board as a member of the network earlier in July. Let's find out what this role will entail from the board CEO, Dr Mashila Boloka. A very good morning to you, Doc, and congratulations on your appointment as Vice Chair. Was this expected, especially considering that as South Africa, we are a relatively new kid on the block?
Well, thank you very much for having us and the opportunity this morning. Indeed, it's a major excitement for us as the Film and Publication Board and the South African continent, together with the continent as well, in the sense that we are the newest member, and yet we were appointed as the vice chair of this network that brings together gigantic online regulators across the world, from Australia, United Kingdom, Korea, Ireland, and so forth. I think this is kind of an international recognition on the work that we do as the Film and Publication Board. The major task for us as the new leadership, particularly myself as the Vice Chancellor, together with the Chairperson, who is Jill Whitehead from United Kingdom, is to grow the network, because that which we are dealing with here around online space is something that is cross-border. It's not confined to any jurisdiction. So I think for us to grow the network and ensure that we fight online harms wherever it exists is a major task ahead of us for the rest of the term.
Perhaps if you could, Doctor, break this down for us. What exactly the activities of the Global Online Safety Network are? What are the various functions that you undertake?
Well, to start, like you mentioned in your introduction, the network, promotes online safety, and for that purpose, what it does, it promotes cooperation amongst various jurisdictions, looking at the work of the online regulators, of which the Film and Publication Board of South Africa is one across the world. We are the only one on the continent, I think, which is a major part that whatever that we do is not only for South Africa, but the rest of the continent. Our job is to make sure that we persuade the rest of the continent to join, because, like I said, the online space knows no borders. So we need to persuade as many as possible to join. So what you have to do, one, is promote cooperation and harmonization, because we are dealing with the same problem, the same big tech companies across the world. Therefore, the need for us to harmonize our regulatory instrument, our tools, and share the best practices as well. I think also for Film and Publication Board of South Africa, there's an admission that the work that we do is internationally recognized. The mere fact that we can stand amongst those regulators and still be seen as a capable vice chair says a lot about the work that we do as South Africa. And I think thanks a lot to our futuristic legislation provided by the Department of Communication and Digital Technology as well as Parliament, I think we are amongst the best in the world. And secondly, to share best practices as well across the world, particularly with the other developing countries. For us, these are the two major functions that will be carried through for the duration of this term.
Doctor, you did mention that South Africa is the only African country on the continent that is part of the Global Online Safety Network. As you said, there is a responsibility to, I think, represent the rest of the continent as well. But are there issues that are unique to the African continent as far as the online safety is concerned, issues that you believe you will be bringing to the table?
Well, one of the biggest ones that is coming out quite strongly is around content moderation, the exploitation of content moderators. You recall that South Africa, or the continent as we know it, the online market isn't that huge. So most of the people that we regulate, or operators that we regulate, are not from Africa. So what they do is they take most of the young people, promise them good jobs in wherever that they take them to. But the level of exploitation is huge. And I think that's what we are trying to deal with. But at the moment, as South Africa, we are the only one that is dealing with that kind of a problem. So I think the biggest one is exploitation of content moderators across the continent by the big powers that be. So I think if we can bring as many of the online regulators on the continent to work with us on this one, that would be a major one. Then the second issue is online gender-based abuse, in the sense that in South Africa, for instance, and in the rest of the world, we are fighting what we call gender-based abuse, but it has shifted to online. And that's why the FPB, we have put together a very strong year-round program on online gender-based abuse, targeting women across the various sectors. Last year, we did the one on sport. This year, we did the one in women in politics. So our idea is, especially as we build towards elections, how do we protect our women in the political sphere to ensure that they get the same kind of rights, the same kind of online space and presence without being intimidated. So that's the second one that is facing us. And then thirdly, what you call children protection. Those are the three areas where we are working, and we can't do it alone. We need to do it with law enforcement agencies that we are supporting. On children protection, you'll know recently that at the FPB, we're at the center of a case that brought one Gerard Ackerman 3-year life sentences is because of the level of the nature of that problem. But we work together with the police to ensure that there's that. But in essence, those are the three areas that, as the FPB, we are taking that are not necessarily unique to us, but I think we see them being highly prevalent on the continent.
And they certainly are.
During our term.
And there certainly are such rife issues there that you've brought up. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and congratulations on your new appointment. You certainly have a lot ahead in store for you. That's the Film and Publication Board CEO and the new Vice Chairperson of the Global Online Safety Network, Dr. Mashila Boloka.